Financial freedom does not come quickly, or at least it didn't for me. It actually took me 4.5 years of following a specific system before I had graduated college, I said goodbye to my job, and I never needed a job in the corporate world again. And now that I've done it, I'm showing people how to do it faster than ever before. So hang tight. Coming up next, I'm going to show you how to achieve financial freedom as quickly as possible. So what I want to start with right now is I want to give you a blueprint. I'm going to give you the 3 things that I did that helped me achieve financial freedom. And I know that if you watch and take notes on this, that it's going to help you on your journey. It's going to accelerate things. And I want to tell you about a special bonus I have at the end of the video. I actually have created an entire blueprint for people that are poor with no money, people that are old with no money, for individuals that have been putting money in 401ks and IRAs, but don't have any residual income, don't have enough to retire. And if you fall into any of those boats, this blueprint that I'll give you at the end of the video is actually going to show you exactly how to get there, and I'll even give it to you for free. So let's jump in, let's talk about financial freedom, and let me create some context. What really is financial freedom? For me, it's a function of time. For most people, it's a function of money. The reality is you gotta get super in tune with what you want out of your life. And so what is your ultimate financial destiny? 20 years from now, when you wake up, where do you want to wake up? What do you want your lifestyle to be like? What do you want to drive? Is your life all about impact and your charitable foundation, or is it time with your family? You got to know what that looks like, because if you know the destination, then you have a greater understanding of your destiny. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to reverse engineer what that looks like. For all intents and purposes, we're going to define financial freedom as simply having enough residual income, money that comes in on its own accord no matter what, that exceeds your expenses. And some of you got expenses right now of $2,000 a month, and some of you it's $20,000 a month. So whatever that is, that's where we're going to start. That first level of financial freedom, if you come out to one of my live events, we're going to supersede that, and I'm going to show you how to live the life of your dreams. In the beginning, we just got to get you free from your job. We got to get you free from what's not working. So a little bit about me as I give you these 3 steps. I'm going to tell you my context and my background, because I'm going to give you my game plan. You have your own game plan in this blueprint you get at the end. For me, I was in college. I was studying and training to become a doctor. I wanted to be a surgeon. And because I failed out of my chemistry classes so fast, it became very apparent that 10 years of science was going to probably kill me. It wasn't going to be good for me. And so I needed to find an alternative path. At that point, I actually only had an expenses of maybe a few $1,000s a month. But my wife and I defined financial freedom as 10 grand a month. 10 grand a month residually would mean I don't need a job, I don't need to work for someone else, and I can be free to do what I want. And we had so few expenses. To us, 10 grand was like Taj Mahal. It was like, it would have felt like being able to buy anything that we could. I probably was young and dumb enough to think I could afford a jet if I was making 10 grand a month, okay? Which we all know it's not a whole lot of money, but you know what? It's a mile marker, and it's a good place to get to. So the 3 things that I want you to understand right here with where I was at is I had little money. So I'm going to do this game plan for you based on someone that doesn't feel like they have enough money. You might be watching this and thinking, Kris, that's definitely not me. I have more than enough money. Maybe you do. But if you don't, check this out. If you've got very little money, the second thing that I'm going to be talking about is taking the little you got to build something so that number 2, you can develop a track record. I'm going to tell you right now, there's something to me far more valuable than money, and it's track record. Having money is great, but being able to duplicate it over and over and over again, I can have as much money as I want, and I can build as much wealth as I want when I have a track record, regardless of what's in my bank account. And then the third thing that I'm going to be talking about is how do you access free money? Because here's the cool thing about money. When you can get your hands on as much as you need, because you have an amazing track record, because you took the little you had and you did something productive with it, friends, that was the blueprint that helped me in 4.5 years create a net worth of $1.6 million. At the time, I thought it was a lot, but what that equated to was $12,000 a month residually, and that's what led me to quit my job. Even then, I was still scared and nervous, and then everything just started flourishing because of what I'm sharing with you right now. So let me break this down for you. I had so little money that my wife and I invented this little game. We called it KPPPM. And I'll tell you what that means. My wife, she came from parents who were super frugal financially growing up. They had no money too. And so when we had no money, we're like, we should do what they do, which is they would pinch every penny. So KPPPM meant Cleanse Parents Penny Pinching Month. which means that we were not going to splurge anything on anything. And we saved up our little bit of money until I had $5,000. That's a small amount of money, but truth be told, I turned that into $1.6 million. How did I do it? For me, it meant buying, I'm going to write PR, stands for primary residence. It meant that I bought a home for me to live in, except, I wasn't buying it for me. I was actually buying this house as an investment. I was going to live in it, but check it out. I bought this thing $40,000 under market. That meant it had $40,000 of equity, meaning if I sold it, I was going to get a pile of cash. I thought that was cool because how many of us can put $5,000 into something and then turn it into 40 grand? Well, I turned it into a lot more than that, so pay attention. Had a basement apartment that we rented out, and it covered our mortgage, which was crazy to me because the basement was 1 bedroom, and the upstairs had 3 bedrooms. And I'm living upstairs. I'm like, you kidding me? I'm living in this house for free? Isn't a house supposed to be your biggest expense? And in one deal, I wiped it out. Had this equity, and when I moved out of it, guess what this home did for me? It provided a $550 a month positive cash flow. I'm going to tell you something. When you're a young, dumb college kid and money is hard to come by, and you're living for free, and then you move out to another house because you duplicated it and you're living for free again, and you're now making this cash flow, I'm telling you what, eliminating your mortgage and having that extra money for me meant that I could roll that into more properties. So I went from one primary residence to another primary residence. Between those two, I built up a net worth of over $100,000. And then I was able to pull some of that out with the help of the bank, and I bought a 3rd property. So here I am with 3 properties. Now I'm going to tell you right now, that's a track record. It is not an extensive track record. It's not my track record today of 3,500 homes. But 3 homes back then was enough track record where my father-in-law, who was crazy skeptical about what the heck is his brand new son-in-law doing with my daughter, why is he buying houses? Shouldn't he be going to college and like getting some degree and learning something useful? But after I had a track record of 3 homes, he came and said, okay, Kris, you got to show me what you're doing. And when he calculated my ROI, return on investment, it meant that I put very little in and I was getting crazy amounts of money back. And he had been old school trained, like, well, Kris, I'm putting money in 401ks and IRAs and savings. And he came up with this proposition, which it was his idea. So I blame him for my wealth. He said, Kris, how about I give you money and we do this 4th deal together and we'll split it 50-50. I got to be honest, I pounced on it. I was like, are you kidding me? I don't have to come up with the dough this time. So based on that track record, I did my first deal with my father-in-law. We sold it a short while later. He made about 50% on his money. And I made an infinite return because I put no money in. I did put in a little bit of time. And because that house went well, I had another track record. And you know what my father-in-law said? He said, Kris, that was yummy. He would actually never say that, but that's my creative license on the dialogue. He said, Kris, that's yummy. Let's do it again, right? So we went and we actually did this like 40 more times. Well, along the way, I now had, by the time I was a senior in college, I had 10 homes, and all of a sudden, I was sitting in college one day and I was thinking, dang, I got so lucky. I mean, think about it. It was pure luck that I got this father-in-law that had some 401k money stashed away, wanted to put some trust in me. I wish I had more father-in-laws. That's a big smile on my face because I'm not into that, whatever you're thinking. But there were 4 other men in my world that had been kind of tracking my results. I decided to take them all to lunch. I showed them my track record on my 10 homes, and all 4 of them, again in my dialogue, said, this kid's kicking the trash out of my 401k. Guess what they all did? They all decided to partner with me. That track record has led to thousands of properties. And friends, I am not reinventing any system here, and I'm going to give you this whole system for free in the blueprint end of this video. So number 1, take a little money, turn it into something. Number 2, build a track record. Number 3, how do you access free money? Well, didn't I just show you? That, my friend, is what I call partnering. And a partner is someone that says, well, you have some track record, you have skill set, you have time, you know how to do this stuff, you can find these deals. I got the money, but I'm busy with my career. I actually don't want to be putting my money in this. And the 2 of us come together and we get married in a business called an LLC. That's our business entity. And we start doing business together. Friends, this little guy right here, your game plan is going to look different. But if we extrapolate some of these principles, the goal is simple. Your first step is going to be different than mine more than likely. Maybe not. But building a track record and learning how to access other wealth to simply do over and over again what you've already done, That's what has given me this financial freedom. It's what's given me the opportunity to live life on my terms, my way. And $10,000 a month at one point, I thought that that was a lot of money. But you know what happens when you're more successful? Your goals grow, your goals expand. My wife and I now, every month, our charity, our foundation puts on a huge service project somewhere in the world. And that lights me up. But I look at my whole life and I'm like, the most meaningful parts of my life is not my multi-million-dollar houses. It's not the cars that I drive, supercars. For me, the most meaningful has been, one, for the last 8 years, I've been taking care of my parents. Cover all their expenses, send them on trips, love them, take care of them. Taking care of my father and mother has been probably one of the most meaningful things I've ever done. And the second has been the work of taking all of this beautiful excess and sharing it. The rich people I hang out with, they're givers, they're sharers. No one likes to be at the top of the mountain alone, which I made this YouTube video for you, and which is why I got a free gift for you. First of all, I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for connecting with me. I hope this has been useful to show you, heck, I can get to financial freedom way faster than Kris now that I have his blueprint, and I would like to make that easier for you. In the link below, I'm giving you access to a brand new book I wrote called Unstoppable, and that book will tell you wherever you're at, whatever your personal financial situations, the exact blueprint to how you create wealth. And you know what? It's entirely for free. All you got to do is click it. I'll get the book in the mail to you. I'm going to ask that you cover the shipping, and other than that, that gift is yours. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you're not a subscriber, stop being so foolish. Make sure that you subscribe. We're friends by now, aren't we? This was useful. And tomorrow and the next day and a decade from now, I'm going to be giving you videos of insight and power to live life on your terms, your dreams, your way.